So, speaking of dreams, know thyself is both taught in philosophy and psychology. And they're two simple words, but pretty powerful and self empowering, I'd say. Carl Jung is the psychologist that's responsible for um, analytical psychology. He used to be friends with Carl Jung until they had a bit of a falling out. And Carl Jung went on his own separate way. And that's where I get a lot of my material about dream analysis. Know Thyself is written on the Oracle at Delphi in Greece. Again, it's just two simple words, but you could spend a lifetime, I think, just getting to know the self. When I talk about dreams, the word that always comes up is I had this weird dream, and we like to focus on the word weird. But let's think about what weird really means. It's defined as what I like to think is unearthly. Dreams are so bizarre, and I think they're supposed to be. They are uncanny and fantastic. They can be funny and scary and amazing. And I almost kind of like to give almost like a plug, like I have to argue it, but if you think about it, we give every single part of our body credit. It serves us in some way, from our hands to our eyes to our feet. And I usually would get some kind of argument saying, well, Miss Newson, we don't use our wisdom teeth anymore, and we don't use our appendix anymore. And that's true. But, we did once have a use for appendix and the wisdom teeth. But I think my whole point is that we give credit to all these parts of our body, knowing that they're here to serve us, and yet dismiss our dreams as though they're just these fantastic parts of us that we just would, in some cases, rather ignore. And I think what I'm suggesting is maybe we shouldn't be ignoring our dreams and really listening to them. The power of our dreams can be seen in myths. Joseph Campbell is really famous for using dreams to kind of heal the psyche. Dreams are just found in our folklore, especially stuff that's timeless, like Lord of the Rings and Star Wars. They are so rich because they touch upon the archetypes that I think our minds are craving. And we are going to define archetype as a powerful representation of a fundamental response to universal experiences. Meaning, in three parts, your dreams are powerful dynamics of whatever weird things that are happening as your general response to universal experiences. How you react to these universal experiences may differ, but we all have these universal experiences. I'm going to get back to this grid because I picked 8 topics that I'd like to kind of just go through and single out. And you'll kind of see why, because each one of these kind of has a yin-yang quality to them. And one thing that I get asked a lot is, I don't remember my dreams, so how can I begin to remember my dreams? And the first thing I'd say is just keep a little notebook right by your bed. You can record it in your phone. I kind of like to just write it. There's something kind of tactile about that. But really, if you just find anything in your dream, write it down as soon as you can. Even if it's just blurred, just write it down. Also write down emotions as you wake up at this time. And just know that no matter what it is, everything counts in dreams. Colors all have different representation. Places, settings, houses, for example. Every part of a house kind of can represent something different. Body parts all represent something. So, for example, dreaming of hands, you can ask yourself something like, what am I reaching for? Or what am I searching for? What emotions do you have in certain situations? And the more detail you can get, the better, but even if you just write down little things, it all kind of goes to a bigger picture. And there's some common dreams. Each of these, again, represents something different. Teeth, for example, could just represent a sense of feeling out of control in your waking life. And as soon as you write down an idea, what you want to do is just write down and brainstorm potential meanings. For example, if it's teeth, you can say, teeth fall out when you're a kid. And that's kind of scary, but it could represent, this loss of innocence that could translate to something a little bit different in our waking life. So I just wanted to put a few quotes in here. And then to also kind of make again, another plea that, our dreams can be such a creative outlet. Movies like Inception, Twilight, yay! Mary Shelley dreamed of Frankenstein when she was at a cottage in Switzerland. But really what she was dreaming about was this monster kind of taking over Europe. So again, all of these things have a deeper meaning. And if you ever want to chat about dreams, I'm your gal anytime. There's a couple links on here for anybody interested in getting started with dreams. Myths, again, and our dreams, I think, are off right now. The COVID and mask and things like that, I think, are creeping up in our dreams. But if you just kind of want to have some fun, to have some activities, you can go to different sources and look up meanings in dreams, and then drawing about them, writing about them, using dreams as an inspiration and just a source of creativity. So this will be part one, and I'm going to go back to that grid a little bit later and talk about kind of the meanings of those. And I'm kind of scared about this, but I had a really weird dream a few weeks ago, and I'd like to tell you about it later, and tell you about the meaning behind it and what I did. But until then, have sweet dreams. And again, you'll see how these can kind of empower the individual. The more you know yourself, the less likely you're going to be manipulated by outside forces. So, sweet dreams. See you soon.